Hello from one of the most beautiful spots in the world. This is Middle River. It's a tributary of the Chesapeake Bay in Baltimore, Maryland. And I'm with one of the most wonderful guys in the world, Gary Jennings. Gary is the owner of Jennings Transmission, the leading transmission shop in the greater metropolitan Baltimore area. How you doing today, Gary?
Fantastic. Great.
Well, thanks for taking the time to meet with me today.
You're welcome.
As I had told you coming into Baltimore, I just wanted to sit with you and just get a video testimonial from you about the website that I've been maintaining for you over the last several years. And in great part because, you know, Gary, when people are out there looking for a website, a lot of times they'll shop around and they'll look at different people's websites and they'll go through a web developer such as mine, they'll go through their gallery and just look at the website. But I thought it would be so much more efficient living in this digital age that people are able to actually meet the client.
Makes sense.
And then you have the ability to share a testimonial with people. So that being said, how long have I been, your website is JimJenningsTransmissions.com.
Correct.
And you're in the Baltimore area. You're a family-owned business.
Yes.
And you've been in
53
business
years.
53 years.
Yes.
Wow. And how long have you been working at the shop?
32 years.
32 years. Okay. And the Baltimore is a very competitive area.
Tremendously.
Very, very competitive. So I should also mention that it's a great pleasure. The reason that we're sitting here at the Chesapeake Bay as opposed to inside Gary's shop is, you know, a lot of times I'll set up websites for people such as you, Gary, and I never actually meet you. I've had the fortune to meet you through different events over the years, but a lot of my customers I never meet. And all the times that we talk on the phone, I often kind of joke with you that I'd love to sit down and have a nice meal with you, particularly crab cakes. And as we're filming this, the waitress just bought our lunch over there, so we'll get to those crab cakes here in just a minute. But going back to your website now, I've been managing your website for several years
Yes.
now, I think. Have you been happy with it?
I love it. I can't imagine life without it.
You can't imagine life without it.
Can't imagine business life without it.
So the website does well for you then?
Well, if you consider the Google AdWords program that you work with us on, generally when you Google or search Transmissions Baltimore, I'm going to have at least three placements in the first page.
Now,
So
when you
that's
say
pretty darn good.
when you say three placements, for people watching this, what you're referring to is when you type in Transmission Baltimore, almost anything related to Transmission Baltimore, you're going to rank. And what he was referring to was that the Google AdWords, that's the pay per click, but more importantly, because only maybe 1 out of 100 people searching are going to hit one of those pay per clicks, but you're also referring to the map at the top of the page.
Yes.
What's called Google Places, where you have the A through G markers, and then you have the Google Organic, and the Google Organic is just a natural listing on there, right?
Yes. Well, generally speaking, if you look at the first page that you'll see on the website, you might be able to see 6 or 7 listings, maybe 8, and if I'm in the top 3, I stand a pretty good chance of being looked at.
Right. Now, over the years that I've been doing your website for you, you've consistently been up at the top or near the top of the search engines.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
And you're not only getting business, people aren't only finding you on the web for transmission-related search queries, but everything in relation to what you do, like differentials, transfer cases, clutches. Yeah, so I'm bringing you the website that I have set up for you. Is very robust in its ability to bring you business. It works. It's okay. And the
it works.
How do you know now? How do you know that it works? I mean, other than, you know, a lot of times somebody comes into your shop to get their vehicle worked on, and you say, "How did they find us?" And you say the internet. Other than asking people, how else do you know your website's working? We set you up with a product called Google Voice, correct?
That, the phone number, as well as, in fact, we did a phone number program with Google, and we have a caller ID on our phone system, and well over 60-70% of the phone calls that were coming in showed that the phone call was coming from a place called Union Bridge, which is where the phone call was being routed through. And
Okay.
it was
And that
it was
phone number only
amazing.
appears on your website.
The only place.
So what you're telling me is 60 to 70% of your calls into your shop are coming from your website?
Well, they're at least coming from the website, in that some of them may not have known that we were there in the first place, so they did a search. Others are simply using the website for to get the phone number.
I see.
So I can't say
Sure.
which one was which, but
Sure.
it's staggering when we ask the customers how did they, or we generally ask the question, who referred you, as a nice way of inferring that they were referred, and more times than not they say website.
Now, another important aspect of the website is, and when I set up a website for a client, Gary, I try to really anticipate all the different functionality that you're going to want to use insofar as administering that website. You know, a lot of times a web developer, they'll program a website so that you come to rely on them, and you know, when you want to make changes to your website, you got to call somebody up, you got to get a hold of them, they've got to get around to taking care of it for you, and then they charge you for that. But with your website, are you pretty confident in your ability to go in and maintain the content on your website that's important to you?
Proof's in the pudding. All you've got to do is look at my website and click on the various buttons. I've got a full featured, packed website, and the majority of it was done by me. And once you do it a couple of times, piece of cake. Photographs are awesome.
The gallery.
Yes.
Yeah, I've seen that you have that gallery set up, and you've optimized different galleries for fleet repair or 4x4, various aspects of your business. You've leveraged that gallery really beautifully. I think that of all my customers, you probably have the nicest gallery of all of them.
Thank you. The last count, we've got also 42 FAQs, and that I think is gives me the opportunity when I've got a customer on the phone, I simply drive them to the FAQs in an attempt to educate them more. The more educated they are, the more likely they're going to work with us.
So you're and you're not a real tech savvy guy, are you?
No, definitely not.
But the back end of the website is intuitive for you. The way I've set it up,
It's not a problem at all.
not a problem at all. And
It works.
let's talk about your interaction, you know, with me over the years. Would you tell somebody looking at this video that you're pleased with the way that I've provided service to you? Am I accessible to you? You know, you can pick up the phone, you can talk to me. Do I take the time to talk to you and understand what the issue is and work through all that?
You always do that. And let me once again say, proof's in the pudding. Our number one most valued referring company has been in business. We've been in business 53 years. They've been in business well over 70 years with 3 generations. They refer their customers to us and have been doing so for probably the last 15 years. I asked Tom to do a website for them. I was not going to jeopardize our relationship with them for anything. So if I trusted Tom to take care of a company that probably funnels or refers 3 or 4 customers per week to me, there's no chance I was going to take a chance.
Yeah. Gary's referring to another client that I'm going to visit later this afternoon called Holland Shades, which is just north of our location here in, I think, Towson. And that website, I haven't talked to you about them for a while, but Holland Shades, as far as appointment requests going through the website, you would not even believe or imagine how many appointment requests they get for all different facets of their business.
I think they're very pleased. Tom and Tim, the owners, would certainly let me know if they weren't happy, and they've been happy with it.
Yeah. Gary, finally, let's just talk about one other aspect of this. You know, a lot of times, you're very familiar. I've been doing business with you for years, so you're familiar with the fact that I lease the website to you, okay?
Just like Profit Boost, just like All Data, just like the other people
Right.
that we're dealing with.
So anybody out there that's thinking, well, gee, should I lease the website as opposed to buying the website? I think that by leasing the website, it's an ever evolving product. I mean, I'm constantly contacting you and saying, hey, Gary, I have this new feature or this feature, or would you be interested in this, et cetera, as opposed to just buying a one-off. And then every time you want to take advantage of the latest technology, you got to go out and find somebody to bring it to you.
It is not a consideration. The fact that you're constantly sending us tips on email and telling us to look at somebody else's website, the issue of not owning the website is just not an issue.
It's just not an issue.
Not an issue.
All right.
The fact that you stay on top of it and you stay on top of us, and the fact that you'll spend the time training me to where to put commas or how to break paragraphs,
how to type in HTML and
yes,
all that. So
It's
you know,
worth
I see my crab cakes sitting over there, and I think that they're getting cold. So I want to dig into this fantastic lunch. And to wrap this all up, would it be safe to say that if somebody's sitting out there watching this video and thinking about who they should hire to do their website for their automotive shop or any industry for that matter, would you feel confident in recommending me?
it's a no-brainer. If you've got any questions, call me.
A no-brainer. Hey, thanks a million, Gary.
You're welcome.
I really appreciate it.
Thanks for coming to the East Coast,
Ah, you're welcome.
the right coast.
All right, let's eat.